Guess what, everybody? We're back here with Brent Wilsey. I said it right. Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. At Wilsey Asset Management, and we're so excited. We just weren't done before, so we thought we'd jump back in, and we really wanted to talk more about Brent and how he gets started and so on and so forth. So this is episode 2 with Brent, and we're going to start out by having him more kind of go into detail of where he came from. And from what I understand, he started out way different than his life is now today. And so, Brent, say hello to everybody first off.
Hello, buddy. How you doing?
Good. Brent, let's go into that life that you created from day one to now and talk about, you know, you were talking about you started out poor.
Yeah, I was very poor. And I remember, going to school and I was embarrassed because I had holes in my pants and they were too short. And
Did you have tough skins?
No, we
I
can
had tough
afford tough
skins.
skins. Yeah, no, we can afford that. It was like they were just never good. And unfortunately, my mom passed away when I was 12. And my dad raised us, and we didn't have very much. My dad was on disability, and it was tough. And so I had to start. I remember being 14 and going out and getting a job because, like, if I wanted something, I had to do it. So I had this job, and I also delivered papers. So I did what I could because I wanted to buy like a new bike, and my dad couldn't afford to buy a bike for me, so I bought my own bike. So that's how I started. Is I realized, like, if I want to do something, no one's going to give it to me. And that's one reason I have a hard time sometimes now is everybody wants somebody else to give them something. I was taught, no, you want something, you go out.
Go get it.
You get it, yeah.
You know what, Brent? I mean, we all had, these successful people have all had a moment, like a very, like an instance, almost a second or a minute in their life where they've decided where the rest of their life is, or where the rest of that successful journey in their life is at that point in time. Is there a very specific moment, like an instant? Like, I'll give you an example. I interviewed somebody who's starting this company called Rapify, all right, and it's basically going to be like Uber. I know he's going to be worth billions. It's an amazing idea. And I asked a question to him, and he said, "Dennis, you know what? I was at the dumpster with my dad, and there was a brand new couch there in the dump." And he said, "Dad, I think I could sell that." So he went and put it on Craigslist or put it on eBay, and he sold it, and he got his first check for $100. And from there, he got that like drive to go forward. So do you have some sort of like moment that just said, someday I'm going to be this, and this is where it started?
It's funny, Dennis, when I was younger, I was probably, I'm going to say 12, 13, I always felt that I was going to be a millionaire. That was my goal. I'm going to be a millionaire. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I said, somehow I'm going to do that. Now, for me, there wasn't like one moment that said, this made me different. What I think it is an accumulation of many different moments where I've kind of changed. And one thing I like doing now that I'm older is I like helping to guide younger people, because younger people, they don't know what direction to go. So I like to kind of show them. And what I tell them is that you want to get here. And what you do is you kind of go here. And I started off in carpentry, didn't like that, went to plumbing, and I realized I'm not a construction guy. So then I said, I want to go to school for accounting. So I went to school for accounting. I worked in accounting. I was an accountant. But this whole time I'm moving in this right direction. Well, now I'm in finance, and I manage a $165 million portfolio. And because of my accounting background, I built upon that. So it's been an accumulation of many moments over my lifespan where I've learned different things and different people that I've followed. And for me, mentors are very, very big. Like, what are they doing? What do they do? And how can I apply that to me?
It's funny. I had this exact conversation prior to coming here today because I'm trying to create this new event, like a podcast event. And I was asking the people I was involved with, we don't really know where it's going to go, but we know that we're going to we're going to get 150 people to show up, and it's going to be great. We're going to get sponsors. We're going to do this. And like, we didn't really know where we were going with it. It's okay. And I've realized in my life exactly what you're saying here is like, doing this podcast, I don't know where it's going to take me. I don't know where it's going to go, but it definitely keeps going to somewhere like you're saying. And it's very important for people to understand that, because they just think that you're going to get right into what they're going to do and they're going to be doing that and become successful. It's not true at all. What you're saying is just so true.
And it takes time, and it takes a lot of effort. And again, if you think it'll be successful overnight, that's in the movies. That's not reality.
Good luck,
It takes a long time to be successful. And again, when I was like 12, 13, my goal was by the time I was 35, I want to be a millionaire. And I think I came close to that. But, it took time. Is my whole point is that you have to do things right. And my son, who is 22 with the firm and so forth, I talk about him building things over time. And that's what I did. I built this firm. It wasn't built, last week. It's been going on for 32 years. I've been actually starting to manage money.
I guess if we look at it from this point of view, like if you learn how to make it over time, it's going to take you longer to lose it if you're going to lose it, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, and you know what?
Because you think of these people that win the lottery, they win it in a day and they lose it in a day.
And I'm pretty confident if you make it over the long period, you won't lose it because you know how you made it.
Right.
And that's very important because if you're trying out there, getting the quick buck and so forth, you might do it, but you're going to lose it too because either you screwed people over or you did something illegal or something happened. And we see this unfortunate.
Is there
society.
a percentage out there of obviously athletes do this really well. They win, 21, 23, they're making $50 million a year, and all of a sudden you look at them, they're retired, and 5 years later they're broke. In most cases, because they learned how to play football. They didn't learn how to play money.
Right. You're exactly right. And I believe for football players, I think the percentage of football players that 10 years later have lost all their money is about 67%. And that's a whole nother group because these are guys, they actually do deserve that money. I mean, they're out there busting their butts and getting beat up and so forth. They deserve that money. They've never, unfortunately, learned how to manage that money or how to keep it. And when you get hit with something so much so quickly, you think it's going to go on forever.
Right. And
that's not the case. Who I'm talking about people that, they're trying to do a business and they're going to be, salespeople trying to rip people off and making big money and trying to get there quick by doing illegal activities. That's who I'm talking about, who they're going to lose it. Unfortunately, athletes, a different situation because they got so much so quickly.
So quick.
And they just think it's going to go on and on forever. And that's a shame that happens.
Yeah, because, I can't mention names, but my friend sells pretty big houses in Rancho Santa Fe. Actually, shouldn't say. He's a manager of one of them. And one of the athletes came in to buy this house, and it's an $11 million house. Mm-hmm. And, when they get these big contracts, like, oh, yeah, I need a big house. And even though they're never going to be there because they're always on the road, but I know how much it costs to maintain these houses on a yearly basis. It's astronomical, the amount of money that goes into taking care of it and maintaining it. I mean, if you live in it, it's over $400,000 or $500,000 a year just in maintaining it. Right. And after you lose your money, that you got to be able to you got to be able to hold on to that.
Right.
I mean, and they lose it all.
And I would tell you, I've talked to a couple athletes. I've talked to a couple of celebrities and so forth. And unfortunately, when we tell them, we average 8, 10, maybe 12% a year, that's our goal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not very good. They want to go out and they want to have the big hit. And then what happens, they'll go out and buy some big property in real estate or they'll do some big, invest in some small business supposed to be like, the next big thing. And they lose all their money. Yep. And if they would just kind of settle down saying, gee, and I will tell you the smart people I have, when I say, gosh, if you could do 8 to 10% on average over a 10-year period, I'd be thrilled. I'd be great with that.
Yep.
But it's the people that lose money, want to try to make that big home run, and they strike out.
Yep. All the time. All right, get back to you because we did want to talk about you. And you mentioned something about mentors and how important they played a role in your life. Mm-hmm. And I am big on that as well. I'm learning more about taking them into my life. And it's so important. Right. Actually, maybe we'll talk about something after the show. I got another podcast I'm actually getting mentors for. But and I'll explain that because it relates to this.
Sure.
I have another podcast called Made in America.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through my hard times, and now I have the wherewithal to be able to come back again, so to speak. So I've been working on that for a year or so now, and I've decided this time around I'm going to podcast it. So I've been taking on coaches in different areas of my life or mentors that guide me, keep me in line to go forward. And I figured that's the only way to do it, realistically, because if you need to be accountable, and you talked about having mentors in your life and how they keep you accountable. Let's talk about that.
Sure. And it's I can't stress how important it is. And the thing that made the most sense to me when I was younger was don't try to recreate the wheel.
Right.
It's done already. But you can add to
myself over the head.
Right. So over the years, that's what I've done. It's just like, and I learned a lot from Tony Robbins.
Yeah. He's great.
He's a phenomenal person. And what I learned from him was, and I'll never forget this story, where he was talking about he wanted to learn how to shoot a gun and do the best he could. So he goes to this Army base to learn.
That's right, I remember that story.
You remember that story?
Oh, yeah.
And the trainer says, well, I'll give you the best trainer. He goes, no, I want your best marksman. Well, no, that's not how we do it. He goes, I want the best marksman. So he goes, go to the person that does it the best, and what do they say? So I've done that my whole life. Like my mentor for investing is Warren Buffett, right. David Dreaman, Benjamin Graham. These are the most successful investors, not some guy that you never heard of, like, oh, well, he's doing this now. No. Go who is the best that's done it. And I forget how the saying goes. It's something about if you want to be a tall person, successful, stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yep.
And that's how you become successful. Don't try to recreate it. And it's so funny. I've seen so many people in my lifetime where they won't listen to anybody else and they try to do it completely different and they fail. What I've learned is take what somebody does and add value to it. And then you can be successful.
That's almost like I had this conversation this morning too. It's like exactly that with my programmer on a software we're doing. And it's so true. Just like get something going, but after that, then you can get creative, right?
Right.
Because now that you got it in line, it's working, it's either financially or whatever working for you, then you can start putting your own creativity in because now you're adjusting it because you know it doesn't work in this way, it doesn't work, that, so on and so forth. But you're so spot on. It's like almost like you've been reading my mind before I came here. Did you download it or something?
No. It's very smart to think that way. And I will tell you, successful people think that way. Well, here it is. How can I add value to it? Yeah. I think unsuccessful people, they want to try to do it complete themselves and so forth, and they fail.
Because there's so much that goes into it. Yeah,
there's so much that goes into it. And there's nothing wrong with taking an idea and making it better.
Right.
Because, technology changes, things change, the society changes. So what can you do? And I always tell, and again, I love helping out younger people and mentoring them. They say, well, what should I do? I said, do something that's going to add value and be a benefit to somebody.
Yep.
And they go, oh, okay. If you can add value, you can make money doing that.
And Tony Robbins is not afraid to tell you that this is not his idea on anything he's done. He's just, I took it from the best people, and I'm just regurgitating it to you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that about Tony Robbins, but he doesn't mess around. He goes to find the right people, and that's why he's worth, $700 million now or something?
He's worth quite a bit. And again, not by doing something unique, but adding value to something. And again, I've had many mentors over my life. And, I was younger, when I was a teenager. Well, what is that guy doing? And again, I would look at it, I talked about being a plumber. Well, I would want to look at what the master plumber did, I would always look at who is the best here? What is he doing? How can I learn from that person? I'm not. And again, people think, oh, you're so smart. I tell people, I'm not that smart. There's a lot of people a lot smarter than I am. But I know a lot about managing money. And I've learned that from people much smarter than me. And I use what they do, and I add some value to it.
Right.
That's how I've been successful.
So if somebody wants to get a mentor, how did you approach your first mentor? And what do you just go up to him and straight up say, hi, I'm Brent? And how do you do this? Because, obviously that's probably one of the hurdles most people don't get over to get a mentor. Maybe they want one, but they don't really know how to find one, introduce themselves to one. Any advice on that?
It's a great question because I never did that. I never said, hey, will you be my mentor? But I would.
So you had a mentor from afar, so to speak?
No.
Okay.
It'd be people that I would say, Marty's a mentor for mine. Okay. Marty is great at socializing.
It's amazing.
I'm not that good at socializing. So what I do when I go there and I'm with Marty, again, very good friend of mine and so forth, I watch what he does and I watch how he does it. And that's what I do. That's what a mentor is. You don't have to say, oh, will you be my mentor? Just enjoy being with that person,
right.
And again, I've had, younger kids that graduate college and stuff, they'll call me up, hey, can I come in and talk to you for an hour? Sure, I'll do that for you. So you don't have to ask someone to be a mentor, but you want to follow that person that is successful and enjoy being around them.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be some superstar or something else. There are plenty of unnamed mentors in our society. They're successful, business people, successful doctors, successful whatever it is you want to do. And success is not always measured just by money,
right?
But by what they do.
Exactly.
And if you want to be like a sports, psychologist or something, well, then you should be hanging around those people and find out who is successful. Again, not just monetarily, but who's successful to where their clients say, wow, Joe Smith is such a great sports psychologist. That's who you should be hanging around and go to these things and so forth.
We hear it all the time. You are what you hang around with.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
The company you keep is very important.
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
It's absolutely that.
Yeah.
And having those people that you can trust around you as well. Absolutely trusting them and taking it to that level there is just so important because we can get caught up in the wrong people.
Right.
And they'll take you in the wrong direction, even though they have the picture that you might want, but maybe you don't really realize they're mortgaged out to the hilt or whatever.
Right.
So,
and Dennis, you bring up a very important part is trust and who you hang around with and so forth. I mean, if you go out and this guy's bragging about, oh, look at my suit, it says this, and oh, I got this tie and I got this and so forth, they're probably not successful. Okay. These successful people
don't need to do that.
They don't need to do that, but you will see them being successful because of what people say to them and how they react in business and what they do. And you've got to be very careful about people that are they're success in their own mind. Okay. Right. They're not good mentors. Right. The people are good mentors. Again, I'll just use my beginnings on my mind is Marty Fowler. Yep. He does not brag about himself. He's been a very, very successful business person, but he's one of the kindest people you'll meet, and he will help you out and so forth. And again, there's many people like Marty that are successful in what they do, and they won't brag about it.
Yeah. And he's very, very tight with his money too, and that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, he can spend as much as he wants, but he's not. He's always saving here and saving there, and it doesn't matter how much money you have if you don't know how to save in the beginning, you're not gonna be able to save in the end.
Yeah, and again, we all have passions. Both Marty and myself, we love cars and stuff, and we don't do it to try to show people, oh, look what I've got. We do it because since I was like 10 years old, I remember reading Motor Trend magazine, like, oh, looking at a Porsche 911 for $10,000. Shows you how long ago that was. But I want one of those cars. I mean, so it's been a passion of mine. So it's not like a show of, oh, look how much money I have.
Right.
It's like,
we love cars.
We love cars, and the same thing with Marty. I mean, we could buy cars. Yeah.
I'm a big car fan. I love cars because, one, I'm driving around in them all the time. You're in it more than you're in your bed almost, and you're in it more than your house for sure.
Right.
And they're so comfortable with the sound and the speed. I mean, I just love going up exit ramps. That's the only place you can really speed.
Well, that's not true. I've had my Lamborghinis up to about 150, 160 on the freeways.
I got my car that ran into a governor, but
I hope no cops watch this. Okay, yeah.
they probably wouldn't mind. But I mean, you go to the 15 out to Vegas. That's a great strip for that. But
and I do have to point out, since I'm a money manager, cars are not a good investment. You know what I mean? I'm going to make that clear. They're fun.
Boy, I can tell you stories about that. They're not a good investment. They're a good. They're great for fun, but they're not a good investment.
It's a passion, and I tell people say, "Oh, you spent $400,000 on that Lamborghini and so forth." It's like, that's crazy. And I said, you know what? People do different things. There's people who buy a bottle of wine for $10,000, or a piece of art on the wall for
$300,000, $400,000,
or $1 million, whatever. And to me, it's like it's just a painting, So, but we all have our passion.
Yeah.
And in life, you have to have passions, but you have to realize, don't fool yourself thinking, oh, I've got this exotic sports car, and I paid $400,000 for it. In 2 years, and I'll be worth $600,000. No, I'll probably worth $300,000. But you enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully you do.
Yes. Oh, well, believe me, I do. Yeah.
Awesome. So getting back on track with the mentors and growing up. Where'd you grow up, by the way?
Sure. I grew up in a place. Now, you have a hard time with my last name. I grew up in a place called Schenectady, New York.
Oh, wow. I've been to Schenectady many times. Yes. Well, I'm from Boston.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I used to travel out there for the BMX career I had in the Schenectady area.
Yeah. And people don't know it's an Indian name. Yeah. And it's maybe people say, what? Schenectady? And it's a very small town. I think now it's probably 40,000 people. They were known years ago for the cockroach capital of the world.
Ooh.
Yeah, they had this, it was a house in Schenectady. We're going to get off track, but I got to tell them how I started it. A house in Schenectady where there were so many cockroaches. They were in the house, they were out in the trees, and it was this major thing of all these cockroaches. So, and I remember there was T-shirts, Schenectady, cockroach capital of the world. Yeah. So
my town was Northbridge, Massachusetts, and my town had probably about 7 miles of mills, and it was a mill town.
Yep.
And they actually did the movie Civil Action in my town. I don't know if you've ever seen that with John Travolta way back. And it was just a total mill town, and most of the people in my town don't really want to leave. They just it's tough to leave. It's just this own little world.
I think that's a back east thing, and again, I'm trying to think of something good to say about Schenectady because I can't leave with a cockroach thing here. It is a nice town, nice people, and so forth.
Amazing people back east.
But it's just again, it's a very small town. Not much happens there, and that's where I'm from. And I left there because I knew I could not be successful there. I said I need to go someplace else. And I looked at the time. I was like, I got out of the service. I was in the Army for 3 years. I got out of the service. I got married when I was 23. And I told my wife, I was like, okay, we're leaving Schenectady, and we're either going to go to Florida, Texas, or California. And I picked California. Obviously, I'm here. And that was, I won't tell you how many years ago it was, a long time ago. And it was the right thing to do. And as soon as I got here, I said, this is where things are going to happen for me.
Awesome.
But I didn't know his soul. And people said, oh, when you get out there, you'll be back in 2-3 weeks. You don't know anybody. And I said, nope. And when I came out here, I worked very hard to, again, be some more. And I started getting mentors. People that were here that's like, oh, well, what are they doing? And I started hanging around people that, I remember I met this guy, he was an engineer. And I didn't say he would be a mentor, but he was successful. And I would say, well, what is, I can't remember his name. I remember his wife's name was Dee. Hank was his name, okay? Lived in Rancho Penasquitas. And I loved hanging around him because he was a successful engineer. And I would just kind of say, well, what's he doing? And how does he act? How does he treat people? And he's my first mentor here in San Diego. He probably never knew it.
Right.
But I took things from him, or learned things from him, because he was a smart, successful person that was very good to people.
I landed here in 1987, and I was coming out here because I was an athlete, so I was coming out here for a purpose. But once that kind of fizzled, the sponsorships and stuff kind of went away in 91 after whatever. And I decided I was going to go to school. Long story short, that didn't work out. So I started a company. My old company, Perfection on Wheels, was a show company, but I needed money.
Right.
And I didn't know anybody out here. But my friend worked at the San Diego Yacht Club. And he was just talking about, I don't know if he was talking about me on the phone or whatever someday. And he said something, and there was a scuba diver that was going in and out that he became friends with. And he's like, somehow he introduced me to him and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, Dennis is starting this company. He's just trying to find money. He goes, well, how much do you need? And at the time, it was only like $500 I needed, to do a mailing or something like that. Right. And this guy doesn't know who I am, and he just wrote me a check.
Wow.
I mean, but being, coming from the East Coast, coming here, trying to make it, trying to grind to make it. And this guy who doesn't even know me writes me a check for $500 and I took that and turned it into like $15,000 at the time. And I'll never forget this guy, the scuba diver guy that just kind of came in, and I gave him his money back. I gave him like $800 back. So he almost doubled his money. But it's like, wow,
See, and he probably saw something in you.
Yeah.
Again, the hard work, the ethic, the honesty, and so forth. That's like, this is a guy I'll take a chance on. And I've seen it in younger people myself, where it's like, that person will be successful. I see it in the Pop Warner kids I coach. I see it in people in school. I see it in my son's friends. I see it in different people. You can tell just by their attitude. We had an intern here not too long ago, and I know this kid's going to be successful.
They're hungry.
And he works hard. He's a good kid. You see good things in people, and that's what this guy saw in you. Yeah. So it's not...
It's fun to look back at these kind of things.
Yeah. And I just love when I see a young person that I know someday is going to be successful because of how hard they work, and they have a good work ethic. And very important, they're honest. They're not trying to rip people off and trying to step on other people to get ahead. You don't step on people to get ahead. You work with people to get ahead.
Because somebody's going to give you opportunity. If you're working hard enough, you're the hardest worker in the room or something. Just like myself and you, we had people that gave us opportunity. And the opportunity, you never know where it's going to go. And can look at them as mentors or anything we want to look at them to, but if you're just open to just honesty and hard work and trust and all these different things that align with being successful, you'll get there. Right. And just like being here at Wilsey Asset Management, it's a long, drawn out process of success, whether it's money and what we're being here today.
And having mentors and just looking at people on what they're doing that's successful, and again, treating people right. And again, you don't have to say, can you be my mentor? Just watch what that person does. Listen to what they do. Listen to what people say about them. You're always on stage. And if you watch people, and sometimes I think it's wrong to listen to people because some people out there, I do this, I do that. They're not the good people. Watch. Yeah. And then you'll find mentors that are really successful, and you emulate what they do, and you'll be successful too.
Awesome. We're at that time again.
Gosh, it goes by quick.
This was longer than the last one.
Wow.
But thanks again, Brent, for spending the time here today. We're going to end on that because that was just a beautiful ending right there. And again, thank you guys out there for listening here today. And again, let's give me your information again because you got my validation to come over here and visit these guys.
Company name is Wilsey Asset Management. My name again, Brent Wilsey. Our website, easy to find, smartinvesting2000.com. You can also listen to me on radio on Saturday mornings on AM 760 every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. And those shows are podcast on our website, smartinvesting2000.com. And my phone number, I'll give you that too, 858-546-4306.
Awesome. You should do commercials.
I've done a couple.
Awesome. You heard it right here, everybody. Thanks again for listening. And it's just such a great opportunity to have Brent here on the 5-minute mark. And if you want to hear him again, you can just press rewind. I know I do that sometimes on my own podcast and other people's podcasts because podcasts are cool. And that's it for today, everybody. Talk soon. Download my ebook for free today and learn all the important secrets to make your website shine. Learn how to rank your website in Google in a matter of days. Also learn how to use Facebook to your advantage by creating interesting posts, great, vibrant business pages. And we'll teach you how to utilize private Facebook groups to educate and update your clients at a moment's notice. So if you're ready to take your business to a new level, download this free ebook today and learn more about the web than you've ever known before. Sign up today and use this platform to create massive change in your life. In order to create massive change, you need a dream. Within the Cody Dog Interactive platform, we've created a vision board where you can allow yourself to grow and dream and put the things you really want into your life in this vision board. From there, the next step is to go and make goals. We create a great place for you to set up those goals and set up tasks to achieve those goals. From there, then we need accountability. We've created a great way for you to be accountable to yourself and all the actions you have right here in the Cody Dog Interactive platform. If you're looking to create massive change in your life, Cody Dog Interactive has created a platform and a community for you to do just that. So sign up today and hold yourself accountable for that massive change you've been looking for.